What is up, everyone? Welcome to your favorite bi-weekly Monday show. It is Impact Intact, and it's rocking and rolling today. We are talking the first ever episode of Impact in the 2-hour era. It is from I know it's October 2007. It's October 2nd,
Fourth.
4th. You know, it was a prime number. Is that a prime number? No, I don't know what
An
prime
even
numbers
number.
are.
I got that going.
It's an even number, and we're even excited about doing this
I
one.
have
I
4
tried.
a.m. brain today, Josh. I'm
I
sorry.
I tried. Yeah, so we're recording this. As you can see, we don't usually record when it's dark in my
Oh,
in my
sure,
house.
yeah.
So it is my nighttime, which means for CJ it is, you know,
3:48 a.m.
it's demon hours. It's demon
Uh-huh.
hours, which we don't know. We're trying to toy around with some times of us. Obviously, we're in 2 different time zones, and you know, that's not the easiest thing to juggle sometimes. But luckily for me, CJ he's a bit nocturnal. Or honestly, I don't actually know when you sleep because
I
I've
don't.
messaged you at all different parts of the
Mhm.
day, and you're usually pretty quick at replying. So I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
actually not convinced that you do sleep,
People
but that's fine by me.
people think I'm bullshitting when I say I sleep for maybe 2 hours a day. They think, "Oh, yeah, okay, I, like, literally sleep for, like, 2
Do
hours
you
a day."
sleep in chunks though? Like you get
No.
2 hours here,
Nope.
2 hours
No,
there.
just
Like
straight up
you
2
just
hours and I'm done.
I
So,
couldn't do
I'm
that.
usually falling asleep right now, and then my girlfriend will sleep through 7 alarms, and she's a nurse, so she wakes up at 6 a.m. I sleep from about 3 or 4 till 6 a.m., wake her up, and then I'm up until I go to sleep again.
Go. Listen, I'm not complaining because it works for me because it usually means I have a pretty big window of being like, hey, I need to record at this time, at this time. It
Right.
also probably helps that I won't dox what you do for work or anything like that.
Right.
But um you work you can work around anyone's schedule really. I have a boring 9 to 5 job, so it's a little bit harder for me sometimes to be like, yeah, I'm available. So we just
Right.
kind of got to roll with the punches here. It's probably a big reason to let you guys in on like behind the scenes of why I decided to kind of go to bi-weekly instead of a weekly show. I obviously do a lot here for anyone that doesn't know. I I have help obviously from the team, but I pretty much run the hive. 90% of it is done by me. So
Right.
I'm kind of constantly on that. Plus I work nearly full time outside of the content world.
Right.
Which by the way, anyone listening to this wants to pay me to do content, I'll quit my job now. Like I'll do it
And
right
I will
now.
say this, Josh is AW wants to pay him, WWE wants to pay him, TNA. He doesn't give a shit. He'll work.
Oh
He'll
no,
just
if
please.
GCW come up to me and
Yeah, sure.
said I will pay you all this money, but you can only watch GCW for the rest of your life, I'd say, cool. I don't even know what WWE or AEW is anymore. I
Right.
forgot who's Rhea who. I don't know.
Never heard of him.
So it doesn't matter. So I am absolutely open for business. But yes, so I work, I do all this. It's just a little bit hard for me. That's a big reason why. But I didn't want to stop doing this show. And for some fucking reason, CJ, I don't really know why, but people seem to like this bullshit that we do.
It
Because
must
we've
be your
watched some.
looks. It has to be if I had to
It
guess.
well, that's usually the reason, but I was like thinking
Right.
besides
Sex does sell, Josh, to be fair. So
I'm listen, sex to sell and I'll pay you. Or no, hold on, you'll
you'll
pay
pay him.
me.
I was like, they'll pay you.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's move on from that situation. So the last time we oh, by the way, actually, before we actually get into this, we have a new logo that we have now of like more of like the classic Impact logo up the
Yeah.
top here, and you'll see all like stuff all over the screen. Make sure you're following the Hive everywhere that you can. We have a link tree which is in the description of this podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, it's all in the description. But you see all our links on the screen here, so go and follow us everywhere. We're not just here on YouTube. We have a Substack, which we have plenty of writers going around writing about all different kinds of things, whether it's wrestling, whether it's wrestling that you don't really see on television, whether it's gaming, whether it's AFL, if you're an
Katy Perry
Australian, or just
concerts.
Katy Perry concerts. It's really, I'm like, I know what everyone's thinking. Like, what don't you do? What, honestly, what don't we do at the Hive? It is just, we're multi-layered people here. We have more interest than probably a lot of you know us all from wrestling, or kind of like the sports world, I guess, or just liking that. But, you know, just because we like that flavor of ice cream doesn't mean we don't like to sometimes dabble in other flavors of ice cream when we feel like it. So the Hive is just like a multimedia, just juggernaut that's growing and growing and growing every single time. I feel like that's like, I know that you hear me talk about it, you hear CJ talk about it, you hear JPJ talk about it, and all the others just talking about how much the Hive is growing. But we don't just mean by like purely by numbers. We mean just like in just the quality that you're getting here at the Hive. So make sure to follow us everywhere at the Hive underscore media, or wherever you see down below and in our link tree. It's all growing at a pretty nice pace, and when did the Hive launch? In June. So we're 3 months in, 2 months in, whatever. And we're rocking and rolling. Things are starting to kind of, I think, come together nicely, because it's always hard to launch something and then you're like, oh man, like I don't know how this is actually how are the machines going to kind of move here? But I feel like we're at a nice pace and we're starting to get some things together and things becoming consistent, and people are actually like, hell yeah, this is good stuff. Like, so I don't want to, it's weird to talk about it from my perspective or even yours, CJ, just because we're in it. We see how hard these people work, but other people are starting to realize who the Hive are and stuff like that. But
And it's our
I don't know
first
why.
show, first Impact and Tax with a sponsor, too, Josh.
Yeah, well, we got Dubby Energy now, by the way, friends. You're seeing the ticker at the bottom of this, or if you're listening to this on Spotify, you can see it all in the description as well. But if you want 10% off your order at dubby.gg, you can head to dubby.gg, put in the Hive, all is one word. You get 10% off your order. It's clean energy. It's clean energy. There's no jitters. There's no sugar. It's just what you want from energy, because there's nothing worse than having an energy drink and then an hour later you're just like, ugh, I'm dead here, because you're just crashing from all that. We don't want that crash, and that's what Dubby Energy does. So head to dubby.gg, enter the code the Hive, all is one word, for 10% off your order. I have some Dubby. I got it last week. I got the Japanese soda flavor. It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like that. And there was actually no crash, because that was the thing. I will always say with it, I'm not a big energy drink person because I don't like the crash. I don't like the kind of jitters from it. It makes me feel weird. And this didn't. And it gave me energy. It got me through the day of work. I didn't get much sleep and I got through it. So listen, it does what it says. It does what it says.
There you go.
So it works. But speaking of working, we are none other than talking about, like we said at the top of this, the first ever TNA Impact of the 2-hour era. So up to this point, TNA Impact was only an hour. It had many different, I'm sure you probably don't know this, CJ, maybe you do just because like you're a wrestling junkie, but it had many different networks. It had many different kind of like feels and alliterations and all this. It was on Fox Sports Net at one stage. It was on all these different channels. It was like half an hour at one stage, then it was an hour, and then it was kind of consistently an hour as it went to Spike. And then all of a sudden, it's 2 hours. Now, I don't know about you, CJ. I know some people feel otherwise, but I do think 2 hours is the sweet spot for a wrestling show. Maybe it's just more so nostalgia because we're so used to 2-hour wrestling shows just as children, Raw, SmackDown, all of that.
Right.
But I feel like 2 hours is the kind of nice spot with a wrestling show.
Yeah, the Raw and SmackDown going to 3 hours made me want to put my head through a wall recently. Glad that's over. But yeah, I thought maybe it would be a little long because of everybody knows it's pre-taped.
That's true.
And maybe if we only got 6 Kurt Angle segments instead of 26, it might have felt a little shorter. No, in general though, 2 hours is definitely the sweet spot in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes an hour they're rushing through,
right?
And then 3 hours is just far too long. Really, for a lot of things, I don't really want to watch too much for 3 hours. To be completely honest, it's not just wrestling. The attention span is just not quite there for it. But I do think 2 hours is good for a wrestling show. So this is the first TNA Impact to head into the 2-hour era, and it's been 2 hours ever since. I don't think there's been a time where it hasn't. Is it still? I don't watch Impact
It's still 2,
anymore.
yeah.
It is still 2. Okay, well that's good to know. They've had some 3-hour specials here and there. WWE at this point on the other channel in 2007 was still obviously running 2-hour Raws, 2-hour SmackDowns. SmackDown was taped still. Raw obviously wasn't. Impact was still taped at this point. We'll talk about the first time it goes live and stuff like that later down the track at some point. But it is taped. I don't know what their taping schedule looked like in 2007, but I would assume they'll probably taping back-to-back nights maybe and doing like 3 or 4 episodes, but I could be wrong. They
Yeah,
could have
no,
taped every week.
this was still batch episode tapings, and like this was also the time, just so I'm pretty sure I got this right, that SmackDown was taped before ECW, and then ECW was live, right?
Oh yeah, because WWE ECW would have been yes.
SmackDown was
Was
taped. I
EC
know for sure taped
for
on Tuesdays.
I think yeah. Yes, it was taped on Tuesdays, and obviously ECW was on Tuesdays, but it was only for a brief period of time when ECW first came back that it was actually live. And
Yeah,
then they taped it before SmackDown, but it was like live to tape, so it would be like on a
right.
2-hour delay or whatever.
Mhm.
I think I could be wrong, but you're in the right kind of zone at least. If it wasn't like it was not far off of being live
Right.
with that. So yeah, that is wow, I didn't even think about
Yeah.
ECW being a thing in 2007, but
Mhm.
yes, it was. It probably was when it was starting to was it no, well, I mean, there wasn't really much of a sweet spot for WWE ECW, but I mean,
It was
it was
06
definitely
One
out
Night
of it.
Stand was probably the sweetest spot.
And then it had that few little months of like,
RVD
oh,
is the champion.
maybe it's gonna work, and then
Yeah.
it just started to slowly
Yeah, by
disintegrate.
07 was like the dismember to December shit with with the Elimination Chamber and the
Well, that was '06.
was that
That
06?
was
That
at
was
the
the
end.
end
That
till
was the
December '06 then, yeah.
yeah, and then it just started. Well, Heyman was gone, and then
So this is
whatever,
it
but
was pretty dead by that was almost a year into that after that. Yeah.
yeah, we're in October. So, a big talking point for this episode of Impact is that Bound for Glory is just a week and a bit away. So it's their biggest show of the year. They made sure you felt that in every one of those promos. We'll talk about those promos. Make sure you remember where. I don't know if you remember exactly where they were, but we'll sprinkle them out throughout because I have some notes on those video packages for Bound for Glory. But take us away, CJ. What do we start off with here on this Impact?
We get introduced to the show and we get right into some action. We have Rhino and Black Rain that lasts
Mm.
about 9 minutes.
Yeah, so
Who is
Black
Black Rain, by
Rain
the way, Josh? Yeah.
Black Rain is the alter the did they say the split
The
personality? Was that
split
the word?
personality. Yep.
Split personality of Dustin Rhodes, Gold Dust. Listen, this is just purely I'm not saying anything, but he was looking thick boy here. He
Mhm,
was thick
mhm.
boy. And that's good for him. But he
Yeah.
was thick with 3 C's.
Oh yeah.
He was looking thick.
Mhm.
Um I don't so okay, so here's my first little nugget of information just to know everyone knows that I was TNA kid through and through, but this was, I believe, like maybe 1 or 2 weeks before the first episode I can remember of TNA. So like this is right before I come in to TNA because I
Right.
come in just after Bound for Glory '07, which is obviously a week from Sunday, as they keep saying.
Mhm.
So I'm just about to pop in to TNA here. So it's kind of cool to see. Obviously, I don't remember every single thing that happened. I was like 12 years old or whatever I was when I was coming in, but um it is kind of cool to see like, oh, because I was watching this episode and I'm like, was I watching full time here? And it was like little pieces that I was trying to put together. And I'm like, wait, no, I remember when I started watching for something we'll talk about later. But it is kind of cool to see what was kind of leading into the era that I got into TNA. And I guess, like people talk about like the eras of TNA that are really good. And I guess we're pretty much in the thick of it here of like people say like 04, 05 throughout like 2008, 9 is like the sweet spot of TNA where things were just like different and they were really cool. Because I will say something about this episode in general is that it didn't feel like a WWE show where TNA later became like a little bit WWE light of like they were just trying to be like Raw. They were trying to
Which
be like
we've talked
SmackDown
about
and
past episodes.
exactly. Like those 2010, 11, the Bischoff Hogan era when they come in, for better or for worse, it does feel very WWE-esque, or there's like WWE. I'm not just talking talent. I'm just talking like there's just a formula that seems a
Right.
little bit more Raw and SmackDown. Where this episode, in some spots it doesn't work, some spots it really does. It doesn't feel like a WWE show. It's not
No.
formatted that
No.
way. Even just from a TV standpoint, it doesn't flow like a WWE show. And that's, some people would find that as a negative. Some people would find that as a positive. It depends on how you want to, I guess, consume wrestling. But it really didn't feel, it felt like its own, it had its own identity.
Right. I agree.
And I think I think where it probably feels most is even just the intro of the show, the way they kind of present the matches, like even like
A lot of
little
signs
things
in
that
the
I know.
crowd too, by the way.
Lots of signs. Again, I say
Love
this
that.
every single episode when we're in the impact zone, but they make that shit look like it's 400,000 people. They just cram it in, and just the way they shoot it. There is something, I don't know, maybe it's just like, I hate to be old man screaming at clouds here, but there is something about watching wrestling when it's not in widescreen that makes
Okay.
me feel very, it just feels like I'm a child watching wrestling.
Okay.
When it's not in HD, when it's a little bit gritty, because this does look gritty. It's not crystal clear.
Yes,
Like,
it is.
it feels gritty, and I don't hate that. But that might be just a nostalgia thing.
Yeah, it's a nostalgia thing. I love good quality like
Oh,
pictures
me
now. I just
too.
can't get
Trust
away
me.
from it.
Me too. I'm not saying I'd like it to go back to that. There's just a sense of familiarity when
Oh,
you're
it's
like
definitely
watching this, where you're
nostalgic
like,
for sure.
and you're like, oh, this is how I grew up watching wrestling.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't know. This wasn't my favorite look of the Impact Zone. That was a little bit later on, but it did look, there was something about it that just felt very, I don't know, TNA, for a
Yeah.
lack of a better term. But I don't really have too much to say about this actual match. I'll let you run down the third parties, I guess you could say, and the finish.
Not much to write home about during the actual like middle of the match, but Rhino goes for Raven is watching backstage at first, and then we see him kind of creep from under the or looks like from under the ring onto he's kind of on top of the holding the apron but like peeking over, and he trips Black Rain Dustin when Rhino goes for a gore. Rhino sees it, goes grabs Raven by his hair, brings him up to the apron. They fight for a couple seconds. Black Rain looks for a roll up, but Rhino rolls him up, gets the 3 count. And then, yeah, after the match, Raven and Black Rain go after Rhino, but Mr. Abyss comes down. James Mitchell is there as well, who's like the overseeing of Black Rain and Raven's group. And then, yeah, he goes for tries to, what was it, like a pipe with like spikes on the end?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
basically.
basically a black pipe with like a metal spike on the end.
I think
Black
it was
Rain,
like the I don't even know what to describe it
I
as.
don't.
Pretty much that.
Yeah, he goes to hit Abyss with it, but Sting comes down and makes a save, and the heels scatter off.
How long did you say this match went for?
9 minutes and 5 seconds.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
That's
Huh.
what I mean. I didn't time it, but that's
No,
what it
no, no,
says.
no, no, no. But it didn't feel like that long, which is, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's always good.
it's probably a good thing. But man, the mighty certainly does fall a few years later, because 9 minutes would be a marathon
That's like an
in
Iron Man
TNA,
match. Yeah.
in Impact in 2010. So,
Right.
I mean, bless their hearts for doing 9 minutes. But
Mhm.
do you, before we move on to the first of this fucking trilogy of segments with Kurt Angle, does this feel like a pre-tape show to you?
Yes.
Because,
Only because of all the segments. With
okay,
Kurt.
sure, yes. Do you think there's a huge difference when wrestling isn't live versus when it is?
For me personally, or do you think I can? Or can I notice it?
Answer both ways.
I hate when it's not live. And I can't notice it too much.
Like, if someone didn't tell you that this episode of TNA wasn't live, like if you were just turning it on, right, and
Uh-huh.
you watching it, would you think that it's happening right now?
Well, because it's 3 a.m., but no. But like if it was 7 p.m. and like I didn't know what wrestling was, and I just said, "Do you think this is live?" Maybe. There's
Yeah,
a part
I'd
of me that I
like to
can't just
think.
get it out of my head just because I know it's not. But like
Me
if I
too.
did it, I had no idea what TNA was, and I was just flipping the channels and see it on, and it was 7 p.m. or something.
You would assume
Yeah.
that it is happening right now.
Right. Yeah.
I'd like to think I'm one of those smart wrestling fans that be like, I can tell when it's not live and
Yeah.
when it's
Yeah.
live to tape or whatever. But this particularly, again, maybe it's hard to really like tell because we're watching it in, 20
17
something,
years later.
17 years later. Um, it really felt pre-taped and I can't
Yeah.
get past it.
If,
Even if it was
there's
like a live
I
show
don't
that
want
I
to
was
get to it,
watching
but
later,
mhm.
like if I was watching a TNA that was live when it happened, I think I could. There's a sense of urgency that isn't.
Yes.
It's. I don't want to get down to the nitty gritty of like my brain how it operates with this kind of stuff, but like that sense of urgency is like there's only certain things in the world that absolutely have to be live for me to enjoy it. Wrestling is pretty high up on
Sports
that
is
list.
in general is number
It's
one.
sports
Right.
in general, and that's where while I don't necessarily, I know some people get on me for this, I don't really necessarily consider wrestling a sport. The sport element of it is that it needs to be live.
Yep.
And I think that's where it's the most similar to sports, in my opinion, is that it has to be happening right now for me to really care. It doesn't mean that I necessarily need to be watching it live, but it needs to happen live when it's airing. So there is this weird feel over this show where I can tell that it is taped and it is edited, and
Oh my
it's
God,
very it's
Josh.
very very it feels it in this show.
Boy, do we have to get into this next segment because I have something to say about that exact fucking thing.
Mhm.
We go to commercial well after Sting chases off the heels there. We come back from commercial. Sting is just still sitting there, standing there. Excuse me. And we get Mr. Kurt Angle, the TNA World Champion, on the big screen on the Titantron. I guess not big as Titantron at this point, but on the big, you know what I'm talking about, on top of the stage there,
On the I guess you'd just
big
call it a
screen.
screen. I don't
Yeah,
know.
medium screen. Um, the Minitron.
Yeah,
Kurt Angle
Minitron.
says,
There you go.
"Hello, I am the TNA World Champion, Kurt Angle," because we had no fucking clue about that. I thought it was Christy Hemme.
No,
My bad. I had no fucking
yeah,
idea. Shout
I
out,
did
she's on
find
the
it
show by
funny.
the way. Actually,
Yeah, we're gonna talk
um,
about her. Don't worry.
he says, "Hello, I'm the TNA World Champion, Kurt Angle, in bright and beautiful California. Um, apologize for not being able to be in the ring tonight." He says, "I know you wanted to beat my ass, essentially, but I'm here showing up at your son's football game, son Garrett." Yeah.
Okay,
Good.
so here's the first thing about the reason I brought up live, DJ. You probably are on the same mindset as me.
Oh,
What the
I got a
fuck
lot to say about
is a
that.
football game happening at 9 p.m. on a Thursday
On a
in
Thursday night,
bright
yeah,
in
bright
bright
and beautiful
fucking sun?
California.
I understand there's a time difference from my understanding between the West Coast
Yeah, so
and the
it would be
East
like 6
Coast.
p.m., I guess.
But why are these kids? Well, my understanding is that these were
High school?
high school
So
kids.
between 15 and 18, something like that. Yeah.
Why are these high school kids running around playing a football game on a Thursday night? Like,
First
it's
of all,
just
if you're in
very weird
America,
to
you
me.
know no fucking high school is playing on Thursdays. It's always Fridays and sometimes Saturdays, first of all.
I didn't
This
know
is
that, but
where,
you would know that,
well,
and
in
I believe
America,
you.
if you were in California or Florida, you would know that is my point.
Yeah.
Um, I just gotta bring the last part up and then we can circle back just because I have to say something about this. But Angle said it sucks that Sting went all the way to Florida to attack him, but he's on the other side of the country in California. And he said he's gonna be a better father than Sting because he's gonna support his child at his game because he would never miss his own children's games. Um, and then Angle basically asked Sting if he taught his son to hit other men's wives like he does. He as
Mm,
in Sting. And
mm.
then
Oh, we
oh
should
god.
say that he's
Oh right,
accusing
yeah, yeah.
Sting of slapping his wife. Like Kurt is
Correct.
accusing Sting of slapping Kurt's wife.
Right.
We just want to. That's why Kurt has been
Why he's doing this, basically.
why he's possessed to go to Sting's son's football game to, well, in his words, just
You will
hang out
find
and
out why.
watch. Hang out
Um,
and watch.
but then Sting says, so they kind of put. This is where I get pissed. They play the thing as if it's happening. They're having this interaction at the same time. So
Yes.
Sting says, "I'm gonna fucking," he doesn't say fucking, but he says, "I'm gonna fucking kill you."
He,
And
he
then
says, "I'm gonna kill you," though, and I was like, "Holy shit,
yes,
he's gonna
and
fucking
then
kill him!"
fucking 8 seconds later, Angle's like, "Oh, you're gonna kill me?" You couldn't have edited that a little fucking better. It was like
No,
7
I
seconds later,
know.
Josh. It
If
was
this
so
was
much
live
later.
TV, I'd actually give them grace because I'm
Oh,
like, well, there could be delay,
it was
there could be
so much
anything like
later.
that.
It
But it
was
was
like
not live, and it was
maybe
so
4 or 5
evident that it was not
seconds.
live.
It was maybe
It
what,
was
like
bad.
legitimately 4 seconds later. He said, "Oh,
I
you're
just
gonna
don't
kill me?"
understand how we're meant to believe that this is
Oh,
airing at. They said 9 p.m. from my understanding. They
yeah.
said
So
9
this is
p.m.
like a half an
Thursday night.
hour in too.
Why the hell are we assuming that this is happening right now? Why are we assuming this is happening right now? A. And B, again, as much as I don't like wrestling being taped, there is advantages that you can have.
You
And I
don't
understand it's
fuck shit up.
2007. You can have shit if a little bit more cookie cutter in the sense of like, and that's not always a good thing, but like at least do that to be like, okay, they're having a conversation, at least appear to be having a conversation because
Right.
they clearly were not, but like, and that's fine, but like, oh my God, it was
Well,
really bad, but
here's the thing
that's like
too.
tip of the iceberg with this shit.
Yeah, it's not live. Whatever. You couldn't have had them tape that segment at the same time, at least, where that
Well,
interaction was happening at the same time, at the very least.
well, it's hard because I almost feel like that interaction should have been happening with Sting not in front of the live crowd.
That either way, though, that conversation couldn't have happened at the same time, at the very least. So at least that segment was coordinated, even though it wasn't live.
I don't know. That's like I guess. I mean, it's a very odd. I just wish it was just like a video of Kurt playing
Yeah.
and Sting's like reacting to like, oh shit, like oh fuck, instead of like they're pretending that like they can. Oh,
Or
what the
like have
fuck?
Sting in the back taping up his fucking ankles or whatever, and
Yeah.
he's watching the show be like in his locker room, and then it's just Kurt gonna be like, "Hey, I'm at your son's football game." He's like, "Wait, what the fuck?"
And
And
then
then
he's
just like,
like, then he loses his shit and he's
and
like,
then he
holy
runs
fucking
to the
hell.
ring to try to talk to him because
Yeah,
he thinks he
no,
can get the feed or something.
yeah, no, I actually agree with you on that one, to be completely honest. But
But
holy hell.
later,
That
we
was
do
just
see him try
again,
to talk to Kurt Angle live. Actually,
it's listen, we got a lot to talk about with that stuff later, but we'll temper it out, sprinkle out throughout the show, obviously, because it is. I think there's 2 more segments with, or maybe 3 with Kurt
Ooh,
and Sting stuff. But I did want to talk about. I know before or after this promo airs, there's a promo for Bound for
it's after
Glory.
this. Yep, it's right now.
Um, yeah, so Bound for Glory is coming up again a week from Sunday, the October the 14th, I believe was the date. There's that iconic TNA voice dude that's doing the voiceovers
Oh,
for that, and they're talking about, he's like TNA wrestling. Um, but they're talking about a lot of things that are happening on that show. Also, it's presented by Midway Games, which is very mid 2000s feel. I don't know why.
yes,
I
it
was
should
like,
have.
that's very, very early 2000s, mid 2000s. But they talk about the first ever Knockouts champion. There's like a 10 woman gauntlet, fight for your right or whatever they say later, but there's 10 women, they were all qualified or whatever. And the reason I remember stepping into TNA is because obviously, spoilers, you know who the first TNA Knockouts champion is. Everyone knows it's Gail Kim, but I remember the episode after Bound for Glory, Gail Kim does some stuff, which we may cover on the show, so I won't spoil exactly. But that's how I remember popping into TNA, because I remember, oh, for some reason I remember this. Gail Kim is the first ever Knockouts champion, and she had just won it. So when I was like watching the show, I'm like putting the pieces together. I'm like, oh, we're like right before I started watching this. But the 10 woman gauntlet, um, we'll talk about more of the participants that are going to be in that, because they mentioned like there's like 5 knockouts that and 5 that are new to TNA and stuff like that. Because I don't know if you know this, CJ, but in 2007, the knockouts division was not large. The knockouts
Yeah,
division was a part of TNA in its early days, but it was not like a staple. There was like a few women that would pop in and out. It wasn't like when they were having their monthly pay-per-views and stuff like that, women weren't a part of TNA really pretty much at all. They were here and there. They were sprinkled out. They were valets. They were really just a sideshow 100% of the time. So, um, I think when people think about TNA and the knockouts, obviously now it's a little bit different. It's looked at like, oh,
right.
okay, they were like a part of the dying days of TNA, really, when everyone thought it was going to die. It was like, well, the girls are really good. So, like, at least they have that to kind of, like, sing home about.
Right.
But it took a long time. 2007, I mean, from 2002, when, or 4, whenever the fuck, 2002, yeah, when they started doing NWA, TNA pay-per-views,
Split pay-per-views.
that's a long time before they even got a women's championship. So,
Sure.
I think some people forget that sometimes. I think some people automatically like, well, TNA have always had good women. It's like, well,
Yeah. They got there.
that's not actually. Yeah, they kind of had to fight as well, just as we see now. So I just thought it was an interesting little tidbit. Sometimes people forget that, maybe people that are watching this show haven't watched, or sometimes I forget JP. I nearly called you JPJ. Look at that. CJ, that people are kind of like, there's wrestling fans that are like teenagers that haven't watched a lot of
Right.
wrestling
Yeah.
we grew up with, and that's kind of scary to me. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, we're
But
fucking
people
old.
just automatically assume like Gail Kim, yeah, she's just been killing it in TNA forever. And it's like, well, no, that's not the case at all. They weren't given opportunities, just like, I mean, on the WWE side in 2007 with women. I mean, that's when Trish left, that's when Lita left. Like, they had Mickey James and they had Beth Phoenix, and then it was just like this was like hiring model stage in WWE of just like, you don't know how to wrestle, you can learn on TV, go for it. And it was probably looked at as a pretty average time for women in
Average
WWE.
is a very kind word.
They were just, no disrespect to any of them,
No,
they
no,
were
no,
put into
not at all. That would,
situations,
if they put me in
they
the
were
fucking
hired
ring,
for
I'd look
different
even
wrestlers.
worse than that.
It was like they were hired for their looks, and they just learned how to do a back bump pretty much on the road. Like, fuck that. But
There's no spending 2 years in the PC, then traveling with NXT, and then going on NXT TV like
yeah,
there is now.
they were just taken out of modeling agencies, and they just said, sure, you'll do. You look great. That's what they were hired for. I guess a lot of them did their job to perfection in that sense. But I think TNA in this time, maybe not even consciously, maybe just subconsciously, were trying to be different than WWE. And one of
Right.
their ways they could do that is bringing in the Knockouts division and trying to, you could still tell, even in this match we have coming up, CJ, that they were still on that line of like, are they just sexy or can they wrestle? Because there was a lot of comments in that made. I don't know if you noticed that, but I certainly did. But it is, I can see where TNA is trying to be really different. It's what made me started to like TNA, not just the knockouts, but just, it was just feeling a lot different from a pretty oversaturated, dry, just pretty stale product on the WWE side in 2007.
WWE
Let's be
was
honest.
fucking trash from like 06, 05 to.
I mean, there was high spots like there always
Not the
is,
whole
but like,
product was trash, but I mean,
it was
just in
stale.
general.
It was certain. They
It
were
was
still
like,
like, are we the Attitude Era? What are
for
we?
people that are younger and might not know, WWE in those 7 years, we'll call it, was like WWE like 2017 until Triple H took over. Not
Yeah,
the
it
same
was.
stuff on TV was happening, but the same quality.
It was. There was the stuff that was good was wonderful,
Just
but the
like
stuff that was
back then, the
really
Bloodline was great, but everything else was
the
shit.
stuff that was bad though, it was like,
It was like offensive.
there was moments of like, why am I watching kind of bad?
Yes.
Like, what is the point of this? Because it is horrible.
Yes.
So TNA were trying to be different. I think that's what honestly a lot of people clicked over for, is because it felt like wrestling mattered a little bit more here. It was like, oh, this is a wrestling show. I'm actually seeing in stages more wrestling, or like more quality wrestling, and the product itself in the ring was much more advanced in its involvement to what we see today than what WWE was presenting. It was pretty set formula in WWE at that stage. They had their way, and they didn't really skew from that too much. But TNA felt like it was a little bit more, lack of a better term, indie.
We mentioned this before. Like, this TNA at that point was comparable to AEW, how it was in ring. Like, we always say like this match. I don't mean the match coming up, but like we will talk about the match, and then we'll be like, this was very AEW like this match. We had the gauntlet match later on, kind of felt AEW. It was just spot after spot, people flying. It was cool to watch.
And I think there was a very big section of a wrestling audience that was pretty burnt out from WWE, and they still liked wrestling, and they were like, how do we find more wrestling on, at least on TV? Because you do remember, like, the internet was a thing here, but it wasn't like what it is
Not
now. It
now,
wasn't
no.
so accessible where you could just be like, click, click, click. Oh, I could watch any promotion. Like,
Right.
you had to really go out and find, if you weren't watching it live, like, as in, like, in the arena when it was coming to your town, you were pretty much just like finding tape. You were trying to find anyone that, oh, my friend has this. I'm going to go and watch it with my friend. I've got to really kind of scale the fucking world just to be able to find any kind of wrestling. So, like, when you're flicking through, seeing TNA, you're like, I used to love wrestling, or like, I still do love wrestling. What's this about? I think that's how a lot of people kind of fell in love with TNA. I'm not saying TNA was the biggest. It obviously wasn't, but it did have its like core audience that was like that cult kind of feeling of like, this is
Right.
cool. Like, what's, I don't know why more people aren't watching this. And obviously Spike coming along changed TNA a lot, but I don't know how we got here, but I think it's interesting because it does, this era of TNA really does feel like grassroots. And it's
Yeah.
like, huh, what could have been? I mean, they're still around today, bless their hearts. They're not dead, but
Half their
it does feel
program is
like
WWE now.
it just feels something. I don't know. Watching this, I'm just like, wow, they had a lot of promise.
Yeah. They did.
But anyway, let's move on to the next match.
Well, we're not quite ready for a match yet,
Oh,
Josh.
sorry, yeah.
We have a backstage segment. Mr. Jeremy Borash is with Jay
JB,
Lethal, who
Jeremy
is
Borash.
the Black Machismo at this point, with
Mhm.
Sanjay Dutt as well. They kind of just hyped the match for Boundful Glory. He's about to fight Christopher Daniels, I believe. Jay Lethal is for the title. And then Dutt like hugs Jeremy Borash and talks about he's building the foundation and we need to stop talking about death and violence so much. I don't know what
It got weird. I
what the
kind of
fuck
checked
he's
out. I'm
talking
not gonna
about.
lie. I was like, I don't
I
know what
was
the
kind of
fuck's going on
happy
here.
when Team 3D came in and just beat the shit out of him because I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, because we kind of. So, by the way, Jay Lethal was the X Division
Oh yeah, it's actually not the
champion.
world champion, obviously.
The X Division. Oh, no big deal. Just so people are like, wait, what? But yeah, so he's full Black Machismo at this point too.
Oh, he
He's
is.
like, he's in the thick of it.
Oh.
I for one, I liked Black
Yeah, I
Machismo.
don't
I know
mind
some
it.
people felt weird about it, but I thought I thought obviously he did a pretty good Macho Man, but
He did a very good Macho Man.
like, but just I kind of dug it. It was a vibe. I was like, hell yeah. Sanjay Dutt, I don't really remember that much about. I'm not gonna lie. I know him, but I was like, okay, cool.
He was just there. But yeah, so Bully Ray and Devon come out and beat the absolute shit out of both of them.
Yeah, he's
And then
brother Way at this point, by the way, friends.
oh,
He's
excuse
brother
me, I'm
Ray.
a piece of shit.
No, you're well, you
He
are, but not in that way.
not for this reason, yeah. The fight spills onto the stage into the live. Well, it's not live, but into the live arena. Then they toss him into the ring. Brother Ray gets on the mic and says, "This is gonna keep." He directs his attention to Jim Cornette, another speaking of pieces of shit. Lets him know, hey, this is gonna happen to every match tonight if you don't give us a title shot. Tonight, by the way. And then we get no answer, and they just keep beating the shit out of him. And they put they put Shark Boy. Shark Boy comes out with a neck brace on.
Give me a shell, yeah, for Shark
Please,
Boy,
yes.
by the way.
And then Bully Ray cuts the promo after Shark Boy comes down. They put him through a table, and after they call out for the title shot.
Yeah, they won the title shot later tonight because they're fighting
Pacman Jones and Ron Killings.
Yeah, Team Pacman. They won the tag team title shot tonight, and they're like, we're gonna fucking destroy everyone unless we get it. Blah.
By the way,
Basically.
so they kind of lied then, because we got a couple more segments. They didn't beat everybody up before they got their answer, so they're kind of liars. Now that I think about it.
No, brother Ray, a liar.
I don't think that's he's
Jesus,
he's a gentleman, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And then we get more of the Kurt Angle-ness. But first we get Sting just berating the production truck.
He's
Josh.
going up to Keith and he's like, "Hey, bitch,
like,
where is he?"
So, and then he blames them for being in on it, saying, "You just want to boost the ratings. This is all about ratings."
Keith's like, "Bitch, I didn't fucking know. I just said there was a live feed. I didn't know he was gonna kill your son."
He's like, "I make fucking minimum wage, bitch. You fucking beat my ass."
But he was like, Sting's like, "I get it."
Yeah, Sting has several lives through this episode, by the way. He's on a fucking rampage.
He really is.
And then he says, by the time this comes back from commercial, I better be able to talk to Kurt Angle. We cut the commercial, we come back, he has a fucking headset on. He's a member of production now, apparently.
Yeah.
And,
he was actually running the show. He was like, camera
yes.
B, camera A.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do this.
camera
Sting was
A because
rocking it.
he wants to talk to Kurt Angle, Josh.
Yeah.
He talks to Kurt Angle. He says, "You crossed the line. If you touch my son, you'll regret it."
Cross the line, by the way.
Yeah, you crossed
Very
the
good
line.
work. Very good work.
And then Angle says, "You won't. He won't do anything to his son, but if he keeps going, he's gonna have Sting arrested because he abused his wife." But then he says, "Oh, gotta go. The game's happening. Go Garrett. Go Garrett." And then
I know that's a bit.
oh my god.
Actually, listen, I know this segment
That's not
was
me being facetious. He actually like, "Go Garrett. Go Garrett."
he was like, yeah, and he was sitting in
Yeah.
the stands. There was like kids around
in
him.
the
I was like,
bleachers.
this is. Oh, by the way, we should note Kurt Angle in a full suit.
Full suit at a high school football game at 7 o'clock on a Thursday. Full three-piece suit too.
It's fucking weird as these segments
weird.
are. I was having a blast.
They were so bad. This is me and Josh like wrestling in a different way than most people. We love like hysterical bad. If it's horrible but funny, sign me the fuck up over 10 out of 10 match any day of the week.
It's why I love wrestling.
So
I mean, we both love wrestling. Trust us. We love all those fucking great. We're right in it. But when
I need this
wrestling is
mixed
like
in though,
so bad, I've always said my favorite thing in wrestling is a wrestling wedding. They're so fucking horrible. There's never been a wrestling wedding where it wasn't cheesy and corny and
I don't
awful
hate
in some
contract
stage.
signings. They kind of grew on me. I like a good contract.
I think my problem with contract signings is at one point they were happening like every second week, and you
but
like,
now
oh,
they never happen, so I enjoy them. Like when
bring
Cody
back more of
Rhodes
that
like
shit.
signed John Cena's contract, I thought it was hilarious because like you're committing a felony, Cody Rhodes.
Shit.
You're committing a felony right now.
But anyway, yeah, that's part 2 of the Kurt Angle Sting saga.
Part 2 of 28, I feel like. And then we got another very somewhat odd. You could probably allude to these people more, other than Robert Roode, obviously. But Crystal and Letitia, is that how you say it? Letitia?
Yes. I don't remember her.
I don't
remember her.
They do like this happened earlier in the day type of thing. Roode is speaking with Crystal, who works for Roode Enterprises or Incorporated or whatever the hell.
Yeah, he had like, he had like I do remember him vaguely, having like his own ink. It was like Roode Inc. or something.
Roode Inc.
Like
that. He alludes to that later on.
Something like that.
Yep. He said he's his own brand, his own multi-million-dollar business. Aside from TNA, he's his own thing. Yeah. He says he has his own brand upheld, and he even has his own PR firm. So he tells Crystal, you're my employee, and I have this PR firm and all this, so you better win the Knockouts title or else.
Yeah, because he said he
doesn't work with losers.
Yeah.
Yes, she's in the gauntlet. And he said he doesn't work with losers, and Roode Inc. will not accept anybody that can't bring a title to the program. And then Letitia walks in, and her and Crystal start like shoving each other and yelling at each other pretty much.
Over like a Playboy magazine?
Over some sort of magazine, yeah, I don't remember.
I think it was Playboy, I want to say. I don't fucking know.
So that happened. We have another match at least after this.
Yeah.
You got anything to add on that?
No.
Not much on Letitia?
No. Sorry about that one.
We have Gail Kim battling Jackie, who is assisted by James Storm in this match. This match lasts 3 minutes and 34 seconds.
She is the I believe Jackie Moore at this stage, and I think is she the Pride of Tennessee? Was that her?
That is what
I believe that's what the announcer said.
Does,
the Pride of Tennessee, Jackie Moore. I mean, for anyone that doesn't know who Jackie Moore is, it's Jacqueline from WWE.
One of my most underrated women ever in wrestling.
My God, she used to throw the meanest clothesline I've ever seen in my life.
She was cruiserweight champion, massive too. Like not like in a she was just jacked.
Jacked. Remember when she come back in the Rumble in like 2018?
Yeah, like
the
that was
Rumble?
and
I was like
7 years ago, yeah.
And I was like, holy shit.
She looked like 2007. Huge,
yeah. And she still threw the meanest clothesline I've ever seen anyone throw.
She had like what they call like country strong. Like, that's exactly what she was.
Tennessee proud.
Yeah,
like, you know,
like, she was your just fucking ass on pure like mud.
I wouldn't want to get into a fight with her even now. I wouldn't want to get into a fight.
60 now? I'm good.
She probably honestly is close. If she's not 60, she'd be pretty close too. But
I'm not fighting her. I'm good.
I'm not fighting her either. But so she was one of the, when I was talking about the knockouts before, she was one of the.
She's 61, by the way.
61 years old. God bless. She was one of the knockouts that was like a valet. She was with James Storm.
Right.
She was with America's Most Wanted when they were together. Like she was like a valet, but she did wrestle sometimes, obviously. But even here, And I mean, this is a young whippersnapper, Gail Kim here, by the way, too. I'm like, oh, look at Gail. So this was after, for anyone that doesn't know the trajectory of Gail Kim, she was in WWE for, I mean, a flash hot minute. She was with the won the women's championship in her first match. A year and a bit later, she was released by WWE, and she went over to TNA. Obviously,
She's
she had
30
another
on
run
the
in
dot in this, by the way.
Gail,
Mhm.
or
Gail.
yeah, Gail. Oh, obviously. But she obviously has another stint in WWE like a little bit later, but she is really, I mean, we're gearing up for her winning the TNA Knockouts Championship to be the first Knockouts champion. So they were putting a lot of stock in Gail. And obviously Gail's
Rightfully so.
peak years are a little bit later. Her like second run in TNA is really what's like when she was having like these killer matches
Yeah.
and she was really, but they were also giving more opportunities to the knockouts then. So I think it's just more of like maybe a
We've already
situation of,
talked about one of her best matches.
yeah, one of the best matches in TNA history,
Sure.
is with Gail Kim. So, but you can tell in this match, you said it went for what,
3
3 minutes
minutes,
and
34
change?
seconds.
Yeah, so it's not long, but I mean, they didn't have, I'm not saying they had a classic. I'm just saying they had a pretty decent match. And even the way that they were talking about going into this knockouts gauntlet, there was way more importance. They were like talking about it with a little bit more energy. Like it just felt like a little bit more than what WWE was offering for women. So I guess in like just if you want to go night and day comparisons, TNA was even here doing a lot more for women and presenting them more as wrestlers than just as, side pieces. I mean, there was still elements of it. There was still like, we're sexy,
Yeah,
and
right.
stuff like that. But it just felt a little bit more like they were wrestlers. Like Gail was wrestling, and so was
Right.
Jackie, but like they were both wrestling. But you can take us into the finish of this one.
I just want to note, like I said, James Storm is out with Jacqueline here. This is before he became a murderer as well. Before he murdered Mickey
Oh
James.
yes,
Obviously, this is
yes,
several years before that.
yes.
I literally put this match was pretty good for the time it was given, which that is a staple really with the knockouts division on a lot of these before like the 2010 around there. But Gail gets the win. She like Jackie just goes through like the spear thing. She kind of gets out of the way and then hits her with that reverse neck breaker into the 1-2-3.
Mhm.
And then
Looks
we
pretty
get
cool.
some what was that? Roxy after the match comes in and attacks Gail. Christy Hemme comes down. And then Jackie said, "Fuck it, I'll join in too." And then Gail
Yeah,
kind of
they're
gets
all
out of
brawling.
yeah, and then Gail kind of squirms out of the way, and the other three said, "Oh, we're all heels, but we'll fuck each other up anyway." And then
Yeah, so
it never ends. By the way, we just cut off the segment kind of.
yeah, I guess they went to commercial. Maybe
Yeah,
I don't really fucking know,
yeah.
but so the Voodoo Queen Roxy, I can't for the life of me think of it. Was it Laveau? Is that
Liverow or Liverovo or
some?
something like that.
She was Roxy later on. She just became Roxy.
Yeah,
Um, she,
Roxy
sh
Laveau.
Roxy Laveau. Yeah, I was like, I don't know, but she's the Voodoo Queen at this stage. At one point in TNA, she's bald because she shaves
Yeah,
her
yeah.
head.
Mhm.
She like went through a lot of shit in TNA. They put her in like really bad situations in TNA throughout. I'm sure she'll come up at some stage again when we do other episodes of TNA. But they like she does some pretty gnarly shit in TNA. Probably one of the more underrated women. I think she got a lot of injuries and stuff that stopped her from wrestling through certain situations in TNA. But yeah, she's the Voodoo Queen here. Christy Hemme, of course, by the way, everybody knows her famous finishing move, the flying fire crutch,
Mhm.
that she does from the second rope, which is what an absurd thing to call a finishing move, which
Mhm.
I actually think it's in that case amazing, perhaps,
Sure.
because it's so fucking stupid.
Mhm.
But they all brawl. They're building again to this knockouts gauntlet match. We'll probably cover 2007 Bound for Glory at some stage in our um time here on Impact Intact. But I actually think, all intensive purposes, a good bit of business. Pretty simple stuff, but a good bit of business.
Yeah, and then we move on to after a break. Jim Cornette is talking with Jeremy Borash, and he
Cry me a
confirms that Team
river.
3D will get their title shot tonight, but they need to watch their back because what goes around comes around. And then Sting is just pissed off at everybody. Now he's done in production. Now he's coming at big corny, as they call him.
Big corny.
He said he wants answers about what Cornetto's been doing, and he thinks fucking everybody's in on it. Cornette basically just waves him off. He's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, and then just leaves.
Which I, at that stage, wish Jim Cornette would just leave.
I wish he walked out of the
Period.
company and not just the building.
Just see you later. And then he just doesn't come back and no one alludes. It's just not whatever. He's there. Nothing to add. Sorry.
Oh,
I've
don't
got
worry,
nothing to add to
because
that.
you might have something to add because we get Jim Cornette again right away, pretty much.
Thank God.
After another break. Kurt Angle, who is go Garrett, still at the football game.
Kids!
Woo, Garrett, love children, yay. Kurt Angle, if you say one thing about him, he loves kids, Josh.
He does. He's a big fan of kids.
Angle says he loves messing with Sting and says Sting's friend Larry will be walking with a crutch and with a limp for getting involved in his family business. And then back at the live arena, again, not live, but at the live arena, we get Cornette, who is with Sting, kind of follows him into his office there and just obliterates the desk and said he's, again, threatening Kurt Angle's life. So I'm going to kill Kurt Angle.
He keeps saying he's going to kill him.
So he's going to kill poor Keith. He's going to kill Kurt Angle twice.
Yeah.
So Sting has a
just
few murder
Jim
charges on his hands.
Whatever.
Hey, I'm fine with that as well. And then we get our long-awaited title match between Team 3D and Pacman Jones and Ron Killings. Gosh.
Okay.
The match lasts 6 minutes and 8 seconds.
Huh. Felt longer.
Yeah. I literally wrote, this match was fine until the finish, where your favorite tag team of all time, the Voodoo King Mafia, interrupt, Josh. You want to tell people who that may involve?
No.
You know, the New Age Outlaws, everybody. Who I think go by the Outlaw and BG James at this point, right?
I was watching the finish of this match, and I was generally like, I knew that it was coming because for whatever reason,
which I'm sure you do too.
Well, yes, but like every single time we watch no matter how well it's going, at some point something happens where I'm like, now why does this sticky mess have to happen?
Yes.
There's a reason why TNA went the direction it did, and why is it got to be so stinky here?
This shit is stupid because, again, it's a New Age Outlaws. Billy Gunn, I have written down anyway, is the Outlaw, and Road Dogg is BG James, I'm pretty sure at this point.
That sounds right.
They attack Ron Killings, DQ, great. Why did Team 3D just join in and beating up Ron Killings? Shouldn't they be mad at Billy Gunn and Road Dogg for costing the title match?
Well, yeah, they should be.
But although in WWE, as we're recording this 2 nights ago, LA Knight was not that pissed at CM Punk that he cost him the world title either. So,
I mean, it's wrestling. I guess it doesn't have to make sense all the time, but
Team 3D beat down Ron Killings anyway. That's the match.
Pacman. Who is Pacman? I don't remember. I obviously this is not my. I'm not the target demo for this one.
He wasn't famous enough to be here either. I don't know why.
Oh, okay. So he wasn't like a.
He was like a pretty good, like a borderline Pro Bowl player, which is like an all-star, but like not like a borderline one, not like fucking Tom Brady or fucking Peyton Manning.
Even I know who that is.
And then they brought in a few years later D'Angelo Williams. You remember him?
Yeah,
with the dreadlocks. Yeah, exact same caliber NFL player.
Right.
The exact same middling all-star type of Pro Bowler.
Right. Because I was like, they were doing the bit, and I was like trying to put together. I'm like, should I know who this guy is?
No, you should.
And I was like trying to rack my brain, like wrestling brain of like.
Okay.
And then I was like,
it'd be like Tex Walker showing up on Raw.
That'd be weird.
What? Am I the only person in America that would know who that was if he showed up on Raw?
Probably.
That's my point. Like, you would be the only person in Australia that knew who Pacman Jones was, probably.
Yeah, I was just lost. I was like, okay, I think he's a American football player, but I'm not. And of course, you know me, CJ. I ain't fucking doing research. I wasn't looking him up.
But
they kept saying he was like controversial.
I'm the newest guy on the show, but that's why he asked me what happens in the segment. Just so everybody knows.
CJ's the rundown person because I'm too lazy to take notes. I've got too much else to worry about than take fucking notes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But they kept saying he was like controversial.
Oh yeah, he was always like getting nothing like pop for weed and shit.
Oh,
nothing insane.
Big whoop.
But in like 07, like weed, you might as well have killed somebody.
Well, I mean, yeah. Honestly, in 07, it was a very different world than it is now. Like, you may as well like have literally,
in prison.
You know,
literally in prison, actually.
Well, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, still, here it's a bit weird too. But we're not going into that route. But yeah, I didn't. But you know what? I didn't like this whole match, to be completely honest. It was just kind of a whitewashed.
we'll just close out the segment and move on. So Team 3D is beating down Ron Killings again, not beating up the VKM for whatever fucking reason, even though they just cost them the titles. And we hear the Mr. Steiner's music hits, Josh,
Yeah,
and
but it was
runs up the fuck out.
holy shit though, was I happy when I was like, oh god, okay, it's Scott Steiner, and I was like, holy fucking shit, it's Scott Emmerich. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. And now
then
obviously we watch Braun Breaker now, and it's like, wow. He is just them.
He is just them, yes. Less controversial though, luckily.
Well, sure, but I
less
mean,
than them, not, but less than them at least.
But he just had the way they move and that. I'm just like,
oh, he's the same fucking
wow,
person.
he's this. They're clearly very related.
Yeah, if nobody knows, they are related. But I don't know
yeah, they're
breaking news.
Their mannerisms, the way they run, the way they face. It was just like, whoa.
They walk like the bully fucking.
I know,
walk,
like because they're just like massive human beings. Like it's like crazy. But I'm just like, he's a Steiner. He's definitely a Steiner.
He comes up. I think a Steiner required to come out the womb with a 6-pack. And massive traps,
just massive big traps, barking and doing just damn weird shit.
They come out, just barking. But luckily, and speaking of, so Braun is of course Rick Steiner's child, his kid. So luckily we got Kurt Angle with some kids right again. Go Garrett, go Garrett. And that was it, brother. That was it. That was the whole thing right there. We just see like a 5-second clip of it.
Go Garrett.
Yeah. In case you didn't know,
we obviously are big.
Right now.
We're big Garrett fans of whatever. Insert his team's name. Did they say his team name?
No,
they didn't.
No, we get his stats though.
But we, of course, love his team. Go team. Go team.
Of course, I have a sports show with JPJ on this. So I'm a big sports fan. We get his stats, and it's very impressive.
When are you going to cover one of Garrett's games?
I'm a piece of shit.
Classic
he's
reviews.
About 45 years old now, so he's probably not. Yeah, classic review for 2007 high school football game in California.
Hell yeah, why not?
The next
Did he actually ever, not professionally, but was he like an actual football player? Like,
I don't know, because we did do some research before. He's about 22 when this actually happened, so he's not even in high school.
Yeah, just to break the illusion, everyone. Thank God.
Yeah, he's not 15.
Kurt Angle wasn't actually hanging around with 15-year-olds, but in full suit. But
shit.
But yeah, I can't wait for that on the Swarm. One of your Saturday Swarms is going to be a classic review of
2007 high school California football games. We will be reviewing that. The 22-year-old
well, of course, that was next on your list.
Well, thanks for fucking ruining it. That was you didn't even make the announcement, you piece of shit.
Shit.
We get back to grown men at least in the next segment. We have Raven speaking with Mr. Jeremy Borash. She says everybody thinks he's washed up. He is, by the way, just in case anybody was already washed up.
Just like Black Rain, baby. Raven, thick with 3 C's, maybe even 4 C's.
Oh,
Bless his heart. By the way, again, we're not fucking.
Oh, no, it's just funny to see.
It's just fucking funny as fuck.
Yes. Everybody thinks I'm washed up. You are very.
Hell yeah.
Love you, great. Whoa, you're very washed up. And then he brings up, he learned something from the timeless Terry Funk, Josh. He lets stars. Yeah, the timeless.
I know. Timeless is just you. Just like I'm ready for you to go timeless, and I'm like, hold on.
Yes,
what are we watching?
I should. Yes, I'm gonna dress like her for the next episode. Too.
Thank God.
In black and white effect on the camera. Just hello, welcome to the welcome.
By the way, shout out here to Tony Storm. We both are fans of Tony Storm.
Noted Australian, obviously. Josh.
She's not a real Australian. Don't get me ranting on that shit. You fake Australian, Tony.
Noted Australian.
Fake.
Unless, say, if you want to interview with Josh, you can be Australian if you want. He's fine with that.
She was born. She wasn't born here. She was born in New Zealand.
She's Australian. Anyway,
New Zealand.
She's Australian. That'll actually be this follow-up episode of the Swarm. We review who's really Australian, who's really New Zealand as well.
Imagine if you did some research and turns out I wasn't.
that
the whole shtick is me being Australian. Imagine if
so that is actually spoiler. That will be the next episode of the Swarm after we review 2007 California high school football.
Yes, specifically just Garrett's gang.
Right, just Garrett. Garrett Sting could be his last name, right? Garrett Sting. Garrett Sting. The 22-year-old high schooler, Garrett Sting.
Yeah, me too.
So Raven says he learns something from the timeless Terry Funk. You pretty much let everybody beat themselves, and then you kind of eke out the win at the end, is basically what he's saying. And then alluding to Josh saying, thick boy Raven, he says, I need some time to get back into shape. And then and then he'll beat Rhino and Abyss's ass, and then they come in and challenge him to a match at Bound for Glory, and Abyss says, "Let's make it a Monsters Ball match with you can bring Black Rain with you."
Why
So
not?
apparently Raven and Black Rain are gonna go from like fat to in shape in 10 days. By the way, so that's
how it works.
that is definitely how it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
So yeah, that match is set up for Bound for Glory.
Can't wait.
At least allegedly.
Yeah.
Then we get a fight for the right preview gauntlet match.
Mm.
Josh, Eric Young, Robert Roode, Chris Harris, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Lance Hoyt, James Storm, Frankie Kazarian, Petey Williams, and Jimmy Rave. In a match that lasts 18 minutes and 15 seconds. We've talked about a gauntlet real quick. I'll let you get into it. But so a person comes out every 60 seconds. And then once everybody's thrown over the top rope, but it's down to the last two, it turns into a regular pinfall submission match.
Yep. I actually genuinely thought this thing was a blast.
It was fantastic.
I thought it was so fun. Jimmy Rave did this spot in the middle of the match where he did like a tilt-a-whirl into like a really like an armbar, like a Fujiwara armbar, and he did it so clean that I was like, holy shit. And again, like we were talking about before, and I know you alluded to it, but like this feels like the most 2025 wrestling.
Rest in peace, Jimmy Rave.
Yeah. But this feels like the most 2025 wrestling of just like, it feels like what we were presented with now in mainstream wrestling. It was fast, there was spots, it was innovative, I guess, in a sense of like the format of the match. I thought it was a lot of fun. The thing that fucking made me laugh so much was how the announcer had to get in and start doing the countdown every time. He was
every
like, 10,
time.
9.
Yeah,
I was like, could they not just put the fucking timer up on the screen?
Just have the crowd cheer like it's Royal Rumble or something. We don't need you. Fucking,
I found it so funny. There was a lot of faces in here though that I was just like, whoa, this person, whoa, this person, whoa.
And some of the guys like are still wrestling now. Obviously, they look so like fucking Lance Hoyt looks so much different than Lance Archer.
Yeah,
it's so crazy.
It's so crazy. And the amount of guys in there that had like their WWE runs.
Oh yeah,
some of them obviously like Lance Archer.
And then Jimmy Rave turned into like an independent legend, like a legitimate independent legend.
Yeah,
before he passed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And then Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin are still winning tag titles in WWE 18 years later.
Yeah, they were literally just on SmackDown last week.
They were just in SummerSlam in the best match of the weekend, maybe.
I know.
Flying off of ladders and shit.
It was so crazy. It's just, by the way, in 2009, on the last episode that we watched of whatever it was, fucking whatever pay-per-view we reviewed, I was like, damn, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin looking young. They were like young.
Sacrifice in 09.
Sacrifice, that was of course. They are puppies here. They are little boys. They're playing football actually earlier that day with Garrett in that high school game because holy shit, they were kids in this one. I was like, holy shit. Weirdly enough, they still wrestle exactly the same.
They are 25 and 26 in this.
Jeez, are they like literally like 80 years old now? What
42
the fuck?
and 43.
Damn, what the hell? That makes me feel so old because they were always the young guys. They were always the young
42 is not that old.
I mean, they're not old.
At this point.
I know, but it's just like, whoa, they've been wrestling for this long. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, they were young. But yeah, I really liked it. I'm obviously not going to go through every single spot that happens, but it was a lot of fun.
I just have I wrote like just fun match, and then I kind of have Storm and Kazarian started it, and then I have the order of entrance and order of eliminations if you would like either one of those.
Go for the order of entrance. We don't really need the elimination. We get down to the final two, obviously.
Storm and Kazarian started it. Roode came out third. Fourth was Petey Williams. Fifth, Eric Young. Sixth, Jimmy Rave. Seventh, Chris Sabin. Eighth, Alex Shelley. Ninth, Lance Hoyt. And finally, Chris Harris was the last entrant.
Hell yeah.
We get down to Young and Eric Young and James Storm. They and then it turns into a normal match. We got a couple, like 3 or 4 minutes, pretty much, of just them doing stuff, and then James Storm locks in a sleeper hold. Eric Young is able to grab him to his feet, still like falling asleep, kind of pushes himself off the ropes backwards, rolls it up into a pin against the 3 count.
The old Bret Hart, Bret Hart gimmick,
Bret Hart cradle thing for the 3
Bret Hart hates WWE.
He sure does.
Funny. I think it's fucking hilarious. What a hater. I can't appreciate it. I think I appreciate it. I'm like, fuck yeah, at least you're on brand. And he's like, somehow
I
it's still Bill
respect the
Goldberg's
lifelong
fault.
hater. I respect the fuck out of that.
He's just like, I hate WWE, and somehow it's Bill Goldberg's fault.
It is everything's Bill Goldberg's fault.
Oh hell yeah, Bret Hart! But he did the Bret Hart spot,
He
and
did.
Eric Young got the.
And then he
the
like goes.
W.
He just won the fucking world title. He goes in the crowd and celebrates. He fucking
Yeah, I mean, basically, he
Jesus
just started like
Christ,
jerking
dude.
off. I was like, holy
Yeah,
shit, good for you.
He was actually butt naked and just cut off the camera.
Yeah, his hole was out. I was like, holy shit.
And then we get a backstage segment with the Coalition, Josh. AJ Styles, Christian Cage, and Tomko.
The Christian Coalition.
They're pretty much arguing about who gets to go to Japan with Tomko when he gets his title match. AJ says, "Don't worry, I got it." And then Christian said, "No, it's a title match. It's too important. I'll go." And then AJ, you need to stay back here and take care of business and Impact.
And then they both end up whatever. Like Tomko fucks off, and then Christian says, "Bring back some chopsticks."
Yeah, that was maybe.
I was like, what the fuck?
That one out there. And however, though, we get to the real story of the night again. Go Garrett! Go Garrett!
Go Garrett!
This is the longest fucking football game of all time, by the way. Angle is like talking again. He's talking to a cheerleader now. I don't know what the age of this girl is.
I still am not actually sure whether they were like insinuating that it was high school.
There's no way it was fucking college, obviously.
But I don't know if they explicitly said that this is his high school son.
If you are in America, this is exactly how a high school stadium looks.
But he was talking to this young woman. Let's put it that way.
Woman is questionable.
But she was like, Garrett's great.
Woohoo, Garrett. Go. No, by the way, if you're on the rest of the team, you're fucking trash, apparently. No one cares about anybody besides Garrett. Garrett's the only player on the team.
Well, the way she was talking, she was just like basically, like Garrett just beat up this pussy like last week. Like, she was in love with him. Good for her.
Well, he might be going to town on someone else here later on tonight. Angle says that bitch. He just assumes this like 15-year-old girl knows who Sting is. By the way, Sting slapped my fucking wife.
She was like, whatever.
And I don't know how to say this other than to say it. He said, "I'm gonna slap Sting's son's ass now that he's not around."
We'll let that one sit.
That is not me. Again, this is a actual sentence that Kurt Angle said, by the way.
We'll let that one sit with you.
And then we go to our main event.
Yeah.
That's not the final thing you'll hear, by the way, in this.
Oh no.
Don't think because main event that it's TNA. There's a segment after the main event all the time. We do get a fun main event at least. Samoa Joe, Jr. Fatu, and LAX, who of course Hernandez and Homicide, take on AJ Styles, Christian Cage, as we just spoke about the Coalition, along Christopher Daniels and Senshi.
Yes.
Who Eli Skipper is also coming down with them as well.
Yeah, so Senshi is Caval in WWE, if everyone remembers Caval. He was in WWE for like
15 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah, like he wasn't he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that I'm gonna say, you know what I'm gonna say? Why? Why are you like the way you are? Because you're so good at this.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Why?
That happens a lot. That happens at least once an episode. Here. I just had a solid main event. It wasn't bad. It wasn't amazing. Hernandez and Daniel started out. Senshi gets involved. We have the usual 8-man tag. Fucking everybody's fighting. Everybody's suicide diving. Yeah. I thought it was funny that Homicide did a suicide dive. By the way, I just thought that was a pretty good touch. Yeah. And then we kind of get like everybody's taking out everybody at the end there. Christian goes for an unprettier. Joe reverses into the cocaine clutch.
Holy shit! The thing that I had noted from this match is that when they do the spot where Senshi goes to hit whoever and then gets Christian takes the most gnarly bump
I have
to the outside. And I was like, oh my god, how did he not break his neck?
Well, I have Christian goes to the unprettier, Joe reverses into the coquina clutch. Christopher Daniels makes the save. Everybody's involved now. Joe hits the muscle buster on Christian. Senshi accidentally takes out Christian, who may have died, who may have passed away.
I'm going to try to explain this, because remember, it's 6 sides here, friends, but Christian is propped on, like, the turnbuckle, and he goes for, goes to get Joe, kicks Christian, and Christian falls, he falls backwards, but he doesn't just fall, he, hits the apron, but does like it almost like he does like a mini moonsault. Like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it is the most gnarly looking fucked up thing
It looks
I've
like he was
ever
supposed to
seen.
fall onto like the padded flooring, but like he fell way too short and bounced off the apron first, kind of.
I don't know, and the
I
way that
guess.
he ended up, it was like
Yeah.
my brain couldn't commute. I was like, "What the fuck?" But it was the most gnarly looking thing ever, and I was like, I wrote down on my notes over here. It just says, "Christian could have died. Holy fuck, Christian rules."
I have. He hit. Joe hits a muscle buster on Christian. Goes to hit a muscle buster on Christian. Then she takes out Christian on accident. Christian almost dies, and then Christian may have died. I'm sorry. And then Joe hits.
We're both big Christian marks, by the way. I'm pretty
Yes.
certain I
Yeah, oh,
am,
yeah,
at least.
please.
Yeah, I love
I was considering
fucking.
wearing a turtleneck, sleeveless turtleneck.
By the way, when his music hit too, when he was coming out,
Oh,
I'm
it's
like,
amazing.
obviously AEW
Christian's
used like
never had like
that
bad
music.
music for the most part, though.
Never.
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 Just
But
Close
that's
Your
just
Eyes,
like
maybe the whole
very
song you
TNA
want.
era. I'm just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh yes,
Mhm.
Christian's rocking and rolling. I'm like, it's main event time. Christian's
Hell
here.
yeah. And then Joe hit Senshi with a muscle buster after Christian passed away.
What a
Gets the 3 count.
disgusting move. Hell yeah.
Oh, it's so nasty.
Fucking, I don't know how people
Samoa
don't
Joe
just
just
immediately
wrestled on
die.
Dynamite today as we were recording this. Again, 20 years later, fine. Whatever. No
What
big
the
deal.
hell?
After he recorded a movie, no big deal. He's just doing
What
the
the
fucking
hell?
thing. Where like he
Christian,
apparently broke his ankle, so he's like fighting on a broken ankle, by the way, right now. 50
I
years
can't even
old.
fight on my ankle that isn't broken.
I can't fight like perfectly healthy, yeah. Go Garrett, go Garrett. So the
Garrett.
game is finally over. Apparently Garrett won.
Oh yeah, we go back. By the way, the main event is here because we are. It's
Yes.
time
That
to
was the main event.
experience this.
Garrett had 3 touchdowns and 16 tackles according to Kurt Angle. That is an amazing game for anybody.
Is that good? I didn't know if that was good or not. Okay, that's good.
That's like
I was
clearly
assuming that
not
it was good,
real good. Like it's clearly
well, you
made
don't
up
know
good.
that. When you do your review of this game for the Swarm,
That's
you'll
true.
know that he was lying or if he was
footage.
telling the truth.
I'll
Yeah.
dive into the footage. Dive into the footage.
Mm.
He says, Kurt Angle now says Garrett's an incredible football player, much like Sting as a wrestler 20 years ago or 10 years ago. And then he goes to Garrett after the game. Garrett fucking books it. He gets the fuck out.
He is immediately. Well, I will say the camera pans and Garrett is automatically running.
Yes,
he's out of here.
Fun. That's how good of an athlete he is. He was just getting a nice jogging after the game. After he just played football.
Of course, just winding down his body.
Yeah, exactly.
After doing what you said. I won't put words in your mouth here, CJ, but what you alluded as maybe an iconic football performance,
it would have been the
on
best
the likes
California
of the
high
Tom
school game of all
Brady's.
time. Tom Brady plays trash compared against Garrett guy. So Garrett's fucking out. Angle kind of like corners him into fuck. I don't even want to say it. Into like a car. Garrett's trying to fucking shut it, scramble. Angle overpowers him, obviously, because Garrett's like supposed to be 15 in this or 16, 17.
I still don't know whether they.
But I'm assuming. So Angle's obviously like an Olympic athlete and 35 years old, and Garrett's like a 15-year-old. So obviously he overpowers him. Gets the car door open, looks into the camera and says, "Sting, you can only imagine what's about to happen." And then the camera cuts off and the show ends. So theoretically, we're assuming this, of course. Kurt Angle just told a grown man who is in the 40s, told another man in his 40s, "You can't even imagine what I'm about to do to your 15-year-old son in this car in our private time on national television." That's what we were supposed to believe happened. Thoughts?
Okay, well, listen.
Is that a good description of what happened? So everybody knows, by the way.
Well, yes.
Okay.
It's not what happened.
I just want everybody to know. I'm giving an accurate description here.
We'll put it this way. Let's not beat around the bush here. We'll leave that up to viewers' interpretation.
Sure.
Is that a good way to?
Everybody, go watch the the clip, and then let us know in the comments. How do you believe that was supposed to be portrayed?
By the way, this episode of TNA Impact is free on YouTube. So you don't have to be a member of TNA
You
Plus.
better fucking say "Go Garrett" in the comment too, or else you will be banned.
Go Garrett.
Watching this. Yes.
Go Garrett.
Emojis, yes.
Go Garrett.
We love Garrett.
It's probably what going to be the title of this episode is. Go Garrett.
Hey, listen, one of the best football players in California high school history.
He's the best football player I know about because.
Well, Pacman Jones.
I was gonna say my knowledge is him and Pacman Jones, and I've never seen Pacman Jones get 6 touchdowns or whatever.
16 tackles and 3 touchdowns. I have it written down.
3 touchdowns. My bad.
I'm going to see if this
Sorry,
guy
I'm
was
just
a
so
football
used of
player.
the excellence that is Garrett. I said 6. My bad. Sorry about that.
Yeah, watch your mouth. Get the damn
Yeah.
stats right.
Well, you'll find the games where he gets 6, and you'll be like, well, shit.
Well, I
Well,
will
fuck.
now have to do a deep dive into his high
Deep
school
dive into
football
his
player.
or college. We don't want to
Oh,
assume that
it's high school.
it's high school. That isn't the views of CJ do not reflect the views of Josh. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I bet.
Because they never said he was in high school. He
was
could have
in high
been
school.
a grown man. By the way, which
Was
still
a
doesn't
grown
make
man,
what Kurt
technically.
Angle did to, even if he was 20 years old, it doesn't make it okay what we're,
By
what
the way,
was,
Garrett attended a Christian college in Southern California and was the football team's fullback.
oh, me too. Yeah, that's
So he did play
exactly where I
football in high
went.
school and college at least.
Football. But that's the end of the episode. Well, we actually thought in general terms of things, this was probably one of the better episodes in general we've
Yeah.
watched of like the Impact show, not the pay-per-view stuff that we've watched.
Right.
Because we've watched some shockingly bad shit. I mean, nothing will be as bad as that JWoww debut episode of Impact. That was probably the
Our
worst
best
episode of wrestling. Well, yes, evidently it is our best, most viewed episode that we've had. But it's probably the worst wrestling episode I've ever. I say wrestling
Probably.
very, very
There
lightly
is a
too. 'Cause
match you have told me to watch that I still have not watched yet, out of respect for
No,
this
because you're
program.
gonna wait for it. We're gonna wait for this. It is coming
Out
soon.
of respect for this
For
program.
everyone that it doesn't know what we're talking about, we won't say it now, but you go back and listen to last week's episode, the Sacrifice episode in 2009, and you'll know exactly what we're alluding to throughout that show. Just to let everyone know, it's coming soon. I'm not telling
I
CJ
will
when it's
die
exactly
if I
coming,
watch it before then.
but it is going to happen very soon, which means I have to watch it. This is saying something, CJ. I have to watch it for the second time in my life. That's how bad it is.
So you never watched it the second time? Okay.
What?
And you like bad shit too, so that's interesting.
It's not so bad. It's good, CJ.
Okay.
It's so bad that it's bad.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, so
bad.
we have to watch this.
We're gonna
I
watch it
can't
at some
last
point.
not watching it.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I've got the next few episodes planned out, and then after those ones. So you're probably looking around by the time we get 2 weeks, so blah blah blah. You're probably looking around October, everybody, that it will be coming towards you. But
I won't spoil what the match is, obviously, because you have to go back and watch last week's episode or 2 weeks ago's episode to find out what we're talking about. But in that episode, I did Google how long it was and how awful you said it was. It lasted over 6 minutes, almost 7 minutes. So that must be really fucking bad. If it's that bad and it lasts for almost 7 minutes, yeah, okay.
If it's not like one of the worst things that you've ever watched, CJ, I will shave my head.
I'm just gonna lie now and say it's not.
Well, I know that you'll be lying. I can tell.
I love the show.
I can tell. No, it's
my honest review.
It's pretty fucking terrible.
I will message or call or something to you right after I watch it, just so you can get my honest reaction to it.
Hell yeah. It's fucking terrible. Holy shit. But again, go and watch the last episode, I should say, of iMPACT Intact here on the Hive, and you can find out what we're alluding to and what's going to be coming up soon. But we got don't worry, I've got some gems to sprinkle in before we get to that episode. But we will be getting there at some stage. But that's going to do us here today for iMPACT Intact. But before we run away, obviously, you can follow me at @JoshRobinson_00. You can follow CJ at CJFWrites on Twitter. I'm everywhere. You can follow the Hive. You see all the links below. There's also our link tree below where if you want to follow on more places like our Substack and stuff like that. You can follow us on Twitch. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, everywhere we kind of are. CJ, usually on the Swarm, you're pretty good at this, so I'm going to let you do it here. Why don't you tell the lovely fine folks what we got going on here at the Hive, because this seems to be your job on the Swarm, so it can be your job here.
JBJ and you are there for the looks, and I'm there for the the hard hitting stuff. Obviously. I mean, look at these guys. Yeah, piece of shit.
I say here, I'm like dribble going out of my mouth. Honestly,
that's part of it. You're drooling over your own beauty at this point. Like Josh said, we have the Substack. Bryn, Peggy are kind of the backbone of that. We do have a new addition. I think it's especially announced by this point. Michael who kind of be doing the non-mainstream wrestling, non-WWE, TNA,
Lots of like
AEW.
Japanese wrestling. He's going to be doing lots
Mexican.
of like from obviously I won't spoil too much of the conversation me and Mike have had, but it will be like older lucha stuff, but also like kind of nugget stuff of just like rivalries from the Japanese stuff that you wouldn't usually normally see on television, even
Which you
outside of
won't
like
get
New
from our live
Japan and stuff.
streams and the Swarm and stuff like that, like the other stuff.
Yeah. So,
Historical stuff.
like it's just like kind of like the wrestling beyond what you see on a week to week basis, like in the mainstream of like what a casual would see or something like that.
Right.
It's just more of other
It'll
stuff. So
inform, like, I'll like, I don't know any of it. I'll
yeah,
gladly read that stuff.
I'm not in tune with all of that kind of
Right.
stuff. I
And that's
watch
why we brought him in.
we're basic generic white boys, CJ.
Oh,
We
yeah,
just watch
please.
what's presented to
Yeah.
us. We're not searching
I
for
look
more.
very generic too, obviously.
Me too. We're probably the, like two of the most generic looking white. If you just write
Obviously.
white man into like chat GP, it's just like well, here we
The
are.
Hive's links actually come up if you Google that.
Well,
but then Bryn and Peggy, like I said, are the backbone. Bryn is more of some of the independent wrestling, stuff like that. Classic wrestling, like what the hell was that guy's name? I don't remember. The guy they had a Dark Side of the Ring episode about that had that promotion. They died in snorting cocaine.
What's
Herb Adams,
yeah,
UWF or UFW, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I read that,
She
and then I watched the Dark Side of the Ring episode right after. It was a perfect pairing, watching that and then reading that. So that's the kind of stuff you go. Bryn Peggy's more of the video game stuff. She actually had something that may or may not be confirmed or announced by the time this comes out, so I won't say it. But something very cool potentially coming up on Twitch and YouTube, something like that.
Yeah, that's actually that's announced. She's co-streaming Gamescom. This drops on Monday. It'll be like 12 hours after this drops, roughly. Somewhere in that zone. So
as
it's coming
you're
up.
watching
So
this,
if you're
it'll be
listening,
tonight.
It'll be it's like in the afternoon American time. So it's like it's around like the 11, 12 hours from when this drops. But Peggy's gonna be co-streaming. I believe. No, it's not the first time I haven't been on the Twitch. It's
me and JPJ
you and JPJ did that a couple weeks in a row, but for Raw. But
when you died,
yeah, I did pass away, but I'm back because I'm fucking awesome. Yeah, well, but Peggy will be taking over the Twitch for a few
hours. It'll be the
first
solo show, I believe, without you.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. And I'll be dead asleep.
So. In case you don't know what co-streaming is real quick, it's like it'll be on in the background and she'll just have a face cam on the side type of thing, like talking about her thoughts and what's happening. And
she's basically doing a react stream, but she has permission to use the footage.
So you will be able to watch it as well. You don't have to go to their fucking Twitch.
No, you come to us. You watch it with Peggy. Exactly. Keep her company, and she'll talk about. They're doing like all different kinds of stuff with like she focuses on more on like indie games because she's more of like an indie game person. But they do stuff on like Black Ops 7 if you're into Call of Duty.
They're going to talk about Call of Duty on it.
Yeah, so like I was a Call of Duty kid when I was like
I was
2000. Oh, on my Xbox 360, baby. Modern Warfare 2 was my game too. Or Modern Warfare 3 actually. With Dome.
Dome, okay.
Dome was my shit because I just throw grenades in that fucking thing. Oh, I used to play that and I mean
those are still online, by the way.
Don't tempt me with a good time, friend. And I still have an Xbox 360, so Jesus. But that's how you know we're hard motherfuckers because we went on mic in 2010.
You heard some shit. Let's just say, and we
let me literally
not say it. We literally cannot say.
Let me just say, I heard a lot of stuff that I would find very offensive towards my kind of people to my ears in 2010. Let me just say, but we are hardened from that time in our lives. Trust us. So
just so everybody knows, we did not part. We were just angels. We didn't say anything. No.
But so that makes us think that's how we know we're millennials right there. Is just like holy shit. But I was in the thick of it. I would get home from school and the first thing I'd do is load up my fucking 360 and I'd be like, let's play Call of Duty.
The best noise ever.
Yeah. And I had my little avatar guy and he would walk around here with the WWE 13.
Do you remember real quick? Do you remember when you would watch Netflix on Xbox? You could have your avatar watching in a movie theater and your friends could come in?
Hell yeah. Did you have an Xbox Connect?
Yes, the little camera thing. Of course.
Hell yeah. I used to play like the fucking sport games and all that.
It was Wii versus the Wii. Before the Wii, I mean.
Well, after. The Wii was first.
Oh, it was like the replacement of, like the competitor, I guess.
But it was just so much different because I did all
Oh
the
yeah,
Just Dance and that
yeah.
too. Like,
Oh yeah,
holy
yeah.
shit! What a
Mm.
time! I want to go back to fuck to that. I
That
hate
shit
being
sucks.
older. Let's go back to being kids, and it's just all you had to do was like, I want to finish school and go home and play Call of Duty till dinner time. Then Mum would make you have dinner,
And
and
then
then
in
you
the
get on
summer, you would
after.
fall asleep on the headset sometimes until 2
Hell
a.m. or
yeah!
3 a.m. Oh,
GTA fucking
yeah.
5 online came out, and then
You'd
you're like,
wake up with
oh
the
my
headset on, you're like, what the
god!
fuck happened? You have no
Holy
idea what's going on.
shit!
It's like
Oh my
noon, and
god,
you're like,
best
huh?
times.
Looking
Holy
around.
shit! But we're hard
Yeah,
bitches
we
because
are.
we went through
I
those.
got tattoos,
Man.
so I seem harder as well. Josh didn't go that far, unfortunately.
No, I'm getting a tattoo for my 30th birthday this year.
Yeah, see how old he is? He's way older than me, by the way.
Not really. I'm a few
He's
months older than you,
2
dumbass.
years. Anyway, so we got sidetracked.
By the way,
Thanks,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Peggy.
By the way,
Peggy's
the
fault.
hive.
Damn it, Peggy. Yeah, the hive, whatever. Um,
Whatever.
and then you get the swarm twice a week with me and JPJ. Unfortunately, me and JPJ on here twice a week. You guys have to see us twice a week. Unfortunately, Josh has to watch our shows twice a week and tell us how shit we are. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I don't think everyone
yeah.
realizes that every piece of content on the hive, it's not just me just putting it out. I listen to everything that goes on here at the hive. So basically none of these hive people can talk shit about me because I
We
will
just do
find out.
that behind her. We do it before we hit record. To be fair,
Well, I listen. That's completely I don't care about that. I care about content. I don't care about you guys as people. You're content
weirdly,
makers, and
me
that's it.
is much of an asshole. Real quick, is me and Joshua. We never really got into an argument, really ever. Not one time.
One day we will. It'll happen.
Oh, and it'll be bad.
I'm
It'll be really awful too. I feel like.
probably. I'm pretty
Hopefully, it
big-headed
happens
when I gotta
live.
be, so
Hopefully, that'd be good.
something
Good
will piss
content.
us off, and I'll be
Oh
like,
yeah.
"All right, bitch, let's
Mhm.
fucking go." The 2010 Call of Duty Josh will come out, and I'll be like, "Listen
Exactly.
here, bitch."
Listen, it has to happen. But of
I was
course,
really bad at Call of Duty, by the way. I just want to put that
I
out.
was
I was
great
never
at it.
great at
I'm
it.
trash at it now. I'm so bad at it now.
Oh, my reaction time is so bad now, but I
Yeah, I
was
feel how it was
okay
back
when,
then.
but I play those games now, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm old."
Oh, see, Josh is driving in GTA. By the way, if anybody wants to,
Oh,
some
okay.
of the worst shit you've ever fucking seen. You're like
By
horrific.
the way, if you want to watch me play GTA
That's
and
my
many
point.
other
Yes,
games, twitch.tv/thehive_media. I stream like 4 or 5 times a week. I'm in the thick of Lego Star Wars at
yes,
the
that's
moment.
true.
So,
Can't drive
obviously.
high speed car in
But
that game. Luckily for
but
him.
if you want to feel any fucking stupider with me playing Lego Star Wars, it's a game specifically designed for children. I still get lost.
Kurt Angle must love it.
Go Garrett.
Oh, Garrett. But yeah, so we got a little sidetracked. But
I don't know how the fuck we got there, but
no,
this
no, no.
called an outro, friends.
Yes, there you go. So yes, the Substack with Bryn, Peggy, Josh is on there. Michael make his debut shortly. Me and JPJ, maybe we'll do something in the future on it, but for now we have it. JPJ streams all the time. You stream all the time. You guys are on live streams every week with Raw. The watch teams have been announced for the 2 next pay-per-views / PLEs. Peggy and JPJ will be on for Forbidden Door next weekend, or this weekend, I guess, as you're watching this coming up.
Yeah.
And then the following weekend, me and JPJ, again, sadly for you guys, you'll see us 3 times. That'll be the
A
Impact
swarm
Attack week too.
takeover.
It'll be an
Yeah.
Impact Attack week too, so you'll see me 4 times that week. I'm so sorry
Yep.
about that.
The swarm takeover for Clash in
Yeah,
Paris, though, because of all the
absolutely.
weird times for everything, friends. I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
not. I'm not. I'm not doing it. I did it for All In,
Mhm.
and it killed me for about 3 days.
And then a little bit of a spoiler, but not crazy. We don't know who will be doing it yet, which we probably do, but we haven't announced it. Josh will likely not be on the following pay-per-view or premium live event, I guess, as well, because it is. Where is that located, Josh?
Well, no. Well, there's one in September, so never mind.
Oh, right. Right.
Which I'm still working through, by the way, friends. I don't know if we're going to do like a split watch party where we have 2 different teams, one on the YouTube, one on Twitch, for AEW and for the
Let's just
WWE
have 4
show.
people on it, just all talking over each other. That seems like a good
Oh,
time.
that'd be fucking great, and I'll track
That'd be really
audio for
fun.
both shows at once.
Yeah, I
That'd
don't
be
think there's
fucking
anything wrong with
awesome.
that. That feels really good.
Because WWE have to run at the same time, so
They did that randomly, Josh. They don't do it on purpose to be petty, okay? They do it on accident. It's not their fault.
well,
If you want to
fuck
hear a
off.
rant about that, me and JBJ talked about that in the last episode
Oh,
of
I
Swarm.
heard it. Yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
latest episode. Well, no. It would be like the last wrestling episode of
The last
month.
wrestling episode of this month, sure.
Yeah, the last wrestling episode. They rant away, and trust me, I was listening in. But yeah, so we got watch parties coming up. We got a lot of stuff. But anyway, we've ranted too long. Go and follow everything. It's in the description below. So you can go and hang out and do all that shit because it's a lot of fun. Get on board with the Hive now because, well, you know it.
Because when we're super famous and rich, you guys can say you're an OG member of the team, of the Watchers, you know?
See, you get on board now, and then when in a year, when all the people from Fightful and all the other places are like, oh, fuck, we got to get on board with the Hive, we'll be like, well, this is like OG fucking Sam over here who's been in the chats of every watch party known to man.
We do have a few of those, by the way.
We do. It's all happening. It's all happening here at the Hive. But that'll do us for this episode of Impact Intact. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Stay posted to all of our socials for what the next episode will be about. But until then, friends, you have a good rest of your night, day, morning, wherever it. Jesus, this is called.
This is his first ever stream, by the way, an episode.
Yeah, I've never.
It's 4 a.m. for me, by the way, not him.
Whatever. Fucking go and listen to all the shit. Hell
Watch
yeah, friends.
the Hive,
We're out of here. All right, goodbye.